So this is the view in the morning. Somebody's burning their garbage. So after just taking a stroll about in the balcony, I headed to the rooftop for the breakfast, which was actually not so nice. So I just stuck to the toast. So I checked out and I saw this cattle on the streets, very hungry. It just breaks my heart to see such big animals with no food. I met this lady, and then you can read her story here. So, I'm going to talk about the regular people that I meet when I travel, when I generally talk to them, and how poverty is starting to is been hurting people, and it is just getting extremely difficult for people to just have food, shelter, and simple travel. And India is just getting a very, very tough or a exceptionally difficult life to live. So I met this lady, the one I put the picture on, in the bus. And when so I took out my money to pay for the bus fare, which is 20 rupees, which is nothing. And when she started to also take out her bus fare, she just started mumbling something, and she just kept saying something to herself. And I've seen so many people mumble on to themselves, and that includes me. I have had days when I've been mumbling and saying things to myself, and they just, because the life just keeps getting tough and tough, living in a third world country. So the minute I saw her mumbling, I just knew, you know, life is just exceptionally tough for her. And not just her, this, even if you were not mumbling, and if somebody were to ask me for a bus fare, I would happily give it to them. But how many people could you give a bus fare to if there's just too many people who are poor and are traveling? So I offered to buy her bus fare, and she happily agreed. And to me, that was very nice, because a lot of people, out of pride, will not take help. So when I looked, I saw her toe was bandaged. She had a big band-aid on her toe. And I asked her, "What happened to your leg? What happened to your feet?" And she said, "I sleep on the floor and I got bit by a rat. And that got bad, and she never took a treatment, and now the toe has become black." And she said the doctor told her, or whoever looked at her feet suggested she go to the doctor, who told her that if he did not surgically remove her toe, then her leg will be gone. It was so bad. Her leg was starting to go black. It was right now just the toe, but he said if the toe was not removed, then it would be the leg which will need to go. And as she's telling me this, she says, "I have got one more finger removed." And I said, "In the hand?" She said, "No, again in my feet." So she had one more toe, or one more finger removed in her feet. And this, I think, was her talking threshold, because after this she couldn't talk much and she just started crying. This is a middle-aged woman who's possibly heading to her 50s. She starts crying on the bus because she has no bus fare. And I asked her, how much did you pay to the doctor? And she says, I paid 253. And I said, where did you get the money if you have no job? She said, I used to work as a maid before, and now she does not have a job. So I said, then how did you pay for this medical treatment? Where did you pay 253 from? And she said, people like you who just give me, hand me out. So whenever I get the money, I go get myself some treatment. And as she's saying this, she starts crying and she says, there's nobody to look after me. She said, I have no food to eat at home. If I get something with people she lives, it's very easy to judge somebody's family also, because when people are poor, a sick person brings lot of headache and lot of misery to people who are okay and are working. So I wouldn't go to where she's staying and who she's staying with, because I feel everybody is just struggling in their situation, and whatever they can give her, they must be giving her already. And since everybody is poor, there's not much many people can give to the other person, even if it is family. And she says, I sleep on the floor, and now when I'll go home, I am not even sure if I'll get something to eat. Where do I begin to, start to empathize with her situation, because it's so grim, it's so sad, and it's just, see, she's sinking. And then she asks me if I'm staying here and if how big is the house. So every time this is the question people will ask me when I offer them some money, because they're just looking for some place to stay and if they can get some food to eat. So I ask the question, why can't government give food to people, all the people all over the world, all 3 meals with some snacks and tea and coffee in between? Why can't the governments offer this to their people? Why should everybody have to work for their food and shelter? Why is it not available in the abundance? So, the answer to that is, lot of governments do give money to people just to travel, just to raise children, just to have families, or their currency can buy them so much comfort that it's okay to do little bit work or whatever amount of work, and they have a very cushioned life. But the ones who are getting killed and very badly, who are suffering, are the people in the third world countries, and even further down, lower, fourth world and fifth world countries. The problem is our currency is just on a decline. Now the dollar equates to 81 rupees. With this much, devalued money, you can't buy many things. Everything is expensive for you. And when the wealth is concentrated in 40% of India's wealth is with 1% of rich Indians, what good can come to the society? And this is just the 40% which is locked up with 1% of rich Indians. The remaining breakup is still not available in any report, or they have not given it. So when government's coffers are empty, they can't do much for their people. So everybody is going through extreme poverty. That is why money should not move to the hands of the private holder. You cannot privatize so many things. Let's privatize this, let's privatize that. Because somebody who's a billionaire, he's not going to start putting water dispensing machines everywhere. They're not going to start putting washrooms and washing facilities everywhere. It is not their business, it is the job of the government to do it, but government has no money to make that available. So more you privatize, the more money is moving into the hands of the rich people, and that is exactly how much money then the government does not have to provide for the larger population.